SHRWD. John, did you sign in?
No. You just bring that back here. I didn't sign it.
Okay, it's 4:30. I'm going to go ahead and call this to order. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes of last month? Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes presented? Okay.
Development activity, farm installation, maize.
Where you at? Last
Very last paragraph.
last paragraph? Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'm not at the, someone here last month.
Yeah, so basically, I was in contact with Nine Star. They were boring new fiber through maize, and then they have SHRWD East. That is actually our so they did that last week. Last week they were finishing it all up, and they just basically ran new fiber through maize. Yep, they only hit the force main once.
That's all.
Is there a motion to adopt the minutes as presented? Motion made by Tyler, seconded by Tom. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And over to the claims. I really didn't go through. Was there anything you wanted to point out, Marissa?
We made our bond payment, so that's why it's so large. So we paid $169,000 for it.
Is that out of depreciation?
No, it comes out of depreciation. Everything else was normal, so there was no other large, out of ordinary things. We pay it twice a year for July and December.
Okay. Are there any questions on the claim? If not, is there a motion to adopt the claims as presented?
Motion.
Motion made by Dwight,
Second.
seconded by Tyler. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Do you want to do the engineer's report next, Zach?
Yeah.
So we can,
I'm gonna let Josh kind of take over a little bit.
I'll
yeah, we got a lot to bring.
open us here. So just to bring you all up to speed, we talked with Zach, Donna last week a little bit about this, but we got our rankings in for the SRF scoring. That's a general list of everything. Then I have some score sheets if you guys want to review how they kind of ranked us and ranked your system as far as the score is looking at. So the score we ranked at was 70 overall out of 200 points, which if you look at the list from all the projects applied, really not a bad score because the number one spot is a 90 out of 200. But we still ranked 35 out of 80 some odd applicants, which is not going to meet the cutoff for funding most likely from the state. So in terms of round one funding from SRF, that is not looking likely on our horizon. I've been talking with Ross Hagan a bit from Baker Tilly about what some other funding options we might have are. I have yet to hear back from our conversation on Friday. I sent him an update about some possibilities. I know we've been talking a bit about internally about maybe pursuing a community development block grant through Okra. That's is a application that happens in September. That would also be some information I need to get from Ross about what the rates are for that funding pool. It's a combined pool. It's Okra and SRF together, so it's some different requirements than the past one we went through in the spring.
That sounds like it's probably our only option for anything as far as additional help and funding. Is that correct?
That's what we're seeing in the near future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you could go with we're thinking that Ross is gonna come back and say that the bond market would be an option with you all to just to do your own kind of public bond, just so. That's how we've done them in the past.
Yeah.
That would be good to get a lot of the federal requirements off of your back to some degree. You're going to pay a higher interest rate. We would hope Ross would come back with what that estimate would be, and then we could come back with a savings option. But I think what Zach and Donna and we kind of come back with is maybe to slow down on the big project and look at some of the see if we can do some of the immediate repairs first. So we came up with do you want me to? I don't know exactly how you want this to go. I mean, this is your kind of meeting. We passed out some options that on this big sheet. Do you want me to go ahead
Yeah, I
and?
brought it, and I think that would be more,
You want me to pass some of these out?
board discussion, because we have to make some decisions on what our priorities are as far as what to do next if we're not gonna do the
You got the color
expansion.
version, so you got the new chart. Some of them are color. I should have. Sure, I don't know everybody. I can keep one if you don't mind.
So this kind of goes over the what we talked about, maybe putting a good chunk of money and trying to get a CDBG grant. The idea was to do a lot of the plant work that's needed, and then maybe go into some improvements on some of your lift stations, Spiceland, Dunry. But then we talked with Zach about the possibility of Spiceland being 100% paid for by Flying J. No, not
Or
Spiceland.
Flying J.
The Flying
Yeah.
J area. So I don't think that's included in these top two. Then we looked at potential projects, and again, staying at Spiceland with the generator, great retrofits. And then going down, I'm at the US 40 main cleaning. That's, to me, one of, I think, your highest priorities is to try to get your try to get the saddles replaced on the ARVs, air release valves. So I think I don't know exactly how you want to try to put these projects together, but this is not. We originally had a $4 to $7 million project. That's what we worked towards, and we have that in almost shovel ready, shelf ready format. So you could go to that project in the next round of SRF projects next year, and then look at CBD this year. But I don't know. I really think this force main cleaning is one of your highest, should be one of your highest priorities, and I don't know how you're going to fund that at this point, but that might be something we talk to Ross about and see if we can get some kind of work with. I was hoping to work with Zach and keep kind of a funding option open where we could then push some major project forward with you all. And continuing down with the miscellaneous lift station upgrades, those are just to me kind of what you should be looking at to make Zach have a nicer system, easier to maintain.
What input do you have back, has to be prioritized?
I mean, we know our big issue is really done wreath right now. So priority one would be the ARV saddle replacement and the exhaust extensions. That's gonna be priority one, because, you know, there's a lot of discussion of why it's not pumping what it was designed to do. Outside of, you know, doing the ARVs and the saddles and getting the ARVs with ball valves so we can maintenance them like we're supposed to. Once we replace those, that'll give us a set point of what will Dunreath do with the correct ARV setup on it. And then, you know, we have to make a decision as a group on where we go forward on Dunreath. It's obviously not pumping to the capacity we need it to. So right now, we've currently spent quite a bit of money just this last couple months on Dunreath. So basically, pump one has been a complete rebuild. They had to have the check valves coming out of the pumps replaced already. That was after the soft start went bad, and then they fried the other one. So they replaced the other one at their cost. And now when they went to restart one, it would not prime at all because the check valve for the suction side had rocks and pieces of pipe in it and damaged that. So now we're currently waiting for that check valve. So that's supposed to be replaced tomorrow. And then they're supposed to finally finish it up from the soft starts to where the mission system will call when there's an alarm. So currently it will not call for an alarm, and it will not even run with the generator because pump one is the only one hooked to the generator. So once they get that up and going tomorrow, they said it should be fully finished tomorrow. But, you know, at that point, you know, we need to look at bringing in Cooley to back out that lift station to verify there's no more stone, rock, and debris in the bottom that's stuck within there to damage any more of the check valve. But we need to get a baseline of what it's going to do after the ARVs to see what it's going to do before we decide where we need this next project start would be. I would say Dunreath would be whether we go to, you know, the initial talk from, if we stayed with Prevalent would be stacked V-series pumps. But, I mean, obviously the pumps we have in there now cannot handle solids. We were sold, you know, a pump on hopes and dreams back in the day, and it's not handling it. So I've been in contact with Indiana Pump Works to get a quote on an Overwatch system, which is a new pumping style to where it's a dry pit. The pumps mount straight on the inlet, and there's VFDs, so as the flow increases, the VFDs speed up, and as the flow decreases, those pumps will slow down, but it's all flow rated. And then the pumps itself have internal blades on the impeller to where if it starts to get clogged or any debris put into it, with hair and white drains that, it'll auto reverse up to 3 times to shred that and get it out of the way before it calls for an alarm. That's one option. The other option would be to remove Dunreath in total and go back to a normal 3-pump wet well, which was what it was before they put in the V-series pumps that are not cooperating, so put it that way. But yeah, the ARV would be first project to see what does that change the flow. Will that help it? Because
we need to
we're the left
establish
side of the
that
curve,
criteria.
and we have a lot of extra head pressure that was not accounted for somewhere. So start with ARVs and evaluate from there would be my suggestion. And then the plant itself, the clarifiers, the sweep arms, and the main drive units are pretty rough shape. I was able to take Luke and Aaron around a little bit after our last board meeting, showing the condition of our collection system.
I was just about to say that we can attest to everything
And it
he's
is
talking
in-
about.
Yeah, I do.
It is in working order, but it's in very rough shape due to age and just the condition of everything. So we're trying to just really pinpoint what projects are going to be time sensitive to do, around that ARV timing as well, to keep everything going.
How would you feel about getting with John and trying to work out some legalities on some of these other
I wanna-
issues like
yeah.
Flying J, and even with Tri-High School, because that's a similar situation, and if this is something they need to work into their budget for repairs instead of us, we need to be letting them know it, because it's budget time for next year.
Right.
Because basically Flying J, Stop 3, and Tri are all, those lift stations were built specifically for those facilities. They own facilities, and, we maintain them, but once they get to a point where they need completely replaced,
Replaced or repaired or anything.
Yeah, like the
We don't
major
have anything
repairs need to
legally in
be-
writing.
set on them. We shouldn't be using
Our money.
our money, repair money for coming in to fix their
Right.
equipment. I mean, I get us maintaining it, but we should not be replacing it when it fails.
That would take a huge burden
Yeah,
off of
that's
what we're talking
3
about.
lift
too.
stations that could possibly come off us, that we've been, maintaining. When pumps go bad, we're the ones buying them and replacing them.
And that's Flying J and Tri.
Flying J, Tri, and Stop 3. And I want to make sure with this Quick Trip that's going in at Hartley's, that's in that setup as well. It's their lift station. We'll help maintain it, but us
We need to have
being
some kind
financially
of
responsibility to
documentation.
replace stuff as it goes bad.
Have they reached out to you yet for
They
service
reached
or
out to
quotes or?
So they requested, they gave us the initial stuff, they paid their tech capacity, and then they reached back out and asked if we would be able to service it if they split it into 3 different. So I think currently what they're planning on doing is, they'll have their facility, and then they're gonna split it into 2 other parcels on the other, what's left of the property, so possibly more businesses.
Really?
Or something going in those other locations, because they asked if we'd be able to service those as well, if they split those. So.
What company is that? Is it-
Quick Trip.
Quick Trip.
Yeah, it's a fuel station. I don't
Didn't
believe
you
it's
say
like
they
a
had
truck
one in
stop.
Noblesville or somewhere?
Daleville,
Daleville.
yeah, that's the closest one I know of. They're
I was
big,
told-
kind of big down south, I think.
Yeah, I was told they
Well,
wouldn't have like a truck stop where it showers and all that, but, fuel stations, you also have some diesel fuel for truckers and some overnight parking, but I don't think they're gonna have
Yeah,
the full shower.
anticipate a start date on that.
They have not given me a start date on that.
And that's at the old junkyard place there north
Yeah.
of
Hartley's,
VRA.
yep, yep, just north of VRA on the other side of 25.
There have been some improvements there as far as clearing it up.
How do you, so you're talking about, we're talking about Flying J, Stop 3, and Tri. We don't currently have anything, any kind of agreement. Is that
More or less.
understanding?
Mhm.
How do you assess the likelihood that they're just gonna go along with this? I mean, it's gonna be a lot of money, and what levers do we have if they
That's kind
give
of
us a lot of friction?
the point we're at right now is trying to figure out, because I was told by a former employee here that that's how it was set up.
Yeah.
Initially, is they owned it, it was installed by them, and then we were just gonna maintain it. So,
No, in place.
That foresight probably wasn't
That
looked
wasn't-
at the time.
We're sure that was never put to paper.
We don't know.
I don't
No.
recall it being put to paper.
Pull all the boxes.
Yeah,
trying to pull all the
and I've been here
original
for
92,
30 years,
93
all that.
construction
It was
information
just
out there
a-
and see if there's anything in it, with the minutes or anything, but as far as I know, it's not in there, so that's where kind of like legality, we need to check and
Yeah.
make sure, but if they build it and installed it and particularly own it, we're just maintaining it, then when it comes to replacement, that should
We're
go
35 years later.
on them, not on,
Right, or at least some sort of split, because it's really benefiting them only, so.
yeah.
That we need to put these things in writing.
Right.
Wouldn't it be better then to find out a way to verbalize that agreement instead of just having it he said, she said, so to say? Because,
That would have to come first, I would think.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, is maybe if we can find a way with these three places that we verbalize our responsibility based upon their ownership, and then when it comes time to replace or even rebuild or increase it, then that would have to be identified to keep it from falling back.
On us, because currently we've a lot of these lift stations we've had to replace pumps at, and we're paying for that. Like with Flying J, they have their own company where they work on lift stations and
Yeah.
service and build them and do all that. And that's who I was in discussion with, took him out, showed him all that. And, we kind of discussed, he can replace the rails and the pumps, but if we need to just, with the condition of that wet well, it needs a whole new wet well and rebuild.
Have
They
you
would
asked
rather just
Connie
wait and see.
if she recalls how that was done? That
Connie
may
was
be-
who I originally heard that information from. They owned it and we were to maintain it. I had her come in one day and
Yeah.
pick her brain on a lot of stuff.
I would
Obviously,
say
I
they
wasn't
would
here
do,
when
she would.
all this stuff happened, so I wanted to pick her brain on some of the setup and why it is the way it is.
So, yeah, we're approaching that time where things need to be prepared and replaced, so we need to have something concrete to present to them and get the oral agreement to do a written agreement.
And I would certainly think with the quick trip, that'd be a good opportunity
Yes,
to
it would.
start, get a process and get a template, and then maybe, immediately then go to these other places and say, look what quick trip did.
Yeah.
So. I was just wondering if you were going to do some kind of a small project, a major project, then you could put like stop 3 and try high in as options to be completed, and then have try high reimburse you or something like that, or like if Flying J has their own system.
Yeah, because that's what
They're gonna do their
I
own.
talked to Flying J. Basically, I told them that we had some engineering already in process for this new lift station, and that I would pass that along to them. That way, they have it and they can build it to that spec. And then, they can either pay for it there, or we'll have our people, with the engineering, build it out, and then they reimburse.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've had that discussion with them.
See, what we're trying to come up with is a solution that fits both options, where if you pump to Spiceland, that continues to with that, and then if we decide to do the other project and do the bypass,
The reroute.
the reroute,
Yeah. The reroute is,
and then have the lift station be able to be upgraded for the reroute option, because that's a little higher.
Dead.
to me, the reroute is dead right now until we get our basics working correctly again and updated.
I would agree.
And I wouldn't, with having Flying J take responsibility for it, and it's, their lift station, we're maintaining it. With us wanting to do a reroute, I don't see how we would say, hey, we're gonna spec this a lot bigger, and now you have to pay for it. I think we need to spec it as it is now and keep the current situation. And then years down the road, if there is development and we need to do the reroute at that point, then we would just have to adjust our pumps sizing for the reroute at that point. But I don't think it's right to upsize the lift station and,
No speculation period,
yeah.
And this isn't my area of expertise, but I mean, I think to your point with the lift station, I mean, just the physical size, I mean, is that something we need to consider? And then you would finish it out with the additional pumps or whatever, if that development happens. I guess we don't want to be short-sighted.
I think the wet well size is fine. It would just be putting bigger pumps in to handle the higher head pressure. With
Okay, so if the
Well-
reroute happens, then we're like, well,
There, I'd be curious as to how much they reimburse you on that, because if they'll reimburse you the full amount for replacement, we could then come in and basically add on top of that and upsize the pumps from supplement from your end over here, and then go ahead and not have to replace them later when you do go that reroute. It just depends on how much, to me, it depends on how much money they're willing to chip in on their end.
Because I'd hate to upsize it and have the bigger pumps and then
Not needed.
it
Right.
is either not needed because we don't do a reroute, or I don't know what that extra gallons per minute would do shoving into Spiceland.
That's right. That's the problem, is you don't want to do, kind of like, you've kind of got that problem right now with
We can't
Spiceland
oversize
and
the
Dunry,
pump.
where now we do it the same thing to Spiceland and have more overflow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's just kind of my thought, because it goes back to our last discussion. Dunry's never going to keep up with Spiceland's gallon per minute.
Mhm.
And so if we're going to keep increasing in Spiceland, Dunry has to be able to go beyond Spiceland's
Yes.
output.
And that's why, you
And that's
know,
just,
with doing ARVs and see if it will actually do what it's supposed to, and if it doesn't, we have to reevaluate whether we,
That's why Dunry's
Change.
priority one.
yeah, change
Yeah.
the lift station setup, because the B-Series pumps are, I mean, you gotta think, it's piggybacking from all these others, going to that one, and if it can't pump solids of any kind, then it's pointless to have there.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be a continuous issue of clogs and damage to those pumps because debris is getting in them. So, you know, Dunreef is definitely priority one. And then we just need to, you know, with these other lift stations in this whole process too, figure out the legality of, you know, what are we fully technically responsible for on replacement, and what are they responsible for on replacement?
Can we table those issues until August and kind of focus on what's at hand and what we need to do to move forward with doing something with Dunreef? And I think the generator at Spiceland is really important
Yeah.
too, and doing, you know,
We're having a lot of issues with just the power feed in general. It's our biggest downtime with power would be Spiceland, Flying J, into Dunreef, that whole corridor right
Yeah.
there is our biggest issue with power outages. So getting a generator at Spiceland is another priority, because they're the only one that has city water. So even if power goes off, they're still running water in those collection systems filled up.
If you had to pick the issues we have at Spiceland or the issues you're having at the treatment plant, which of those is a bigger priority for you?
Spiceland issues as far as
Generator and any other issues, like with the manhole that needs some rehab.
I think those are very important. But I mean, our facility is over 30 years old. Concrete Life is evaluated at 25 years. We're already looking past the life cycle, so
Some of the concrete walls back there are already starting to crack.
crack, flake, fall apart. A lot of your drive units on your clarifier sweep arms are all rusting out. You have one whole arm that broke off on one of the brushes.
so do we need to add those things to this project?
We need to
Just totally reevaluate?
We need to
what we
reevaluate
do?
a rebuild of the facility. Because you're to that point where we can't wait till those walls crumble and
No,
water
we
goes
cannot.
everywhere.
You won't have another 5 years with concrete that's out there.
No. We're to that point where we have to seriously start looking at the rebuild of this facility. It's already plumbed, but, I mean, financially, we just gotta
We're
figure
gonna
out
find the
how
money.
this is gonna work out to,
Ballpark cost of,
I've not been around long enough to have a,
And you're talking,
An idea.
mirroring this, you're doing the mirror of
Yeah.
the system, and then coming
just-
back, then after that's constructed, you want to come back and do some minor rehab to
what's
keep
currently
the existing
in
one
place.
going
Yes.
too, so. Yeah, you're in the $15-20 million, most likely.
I think we need to move forward with things such as Dennis.
Yeah, done rate needs to be
Give us
priority
answers
for
to
that to help with the collection system, but I mean, your facility, it don't matter if your collection system's working if your facility's not either, so.
Right, just think about when you start upgrading your collection facility, and start running more through your.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, we've hit a point where we've ran so lean and understaffed and under budget for so many years that we've hit a point where we can't continue this way or we will fail. It's a hard pill to swallow, but we're to that point. We have less than 5 years, if 5 years, for the treatment plant. What condition it's in.
Do we have the ability to get funding for something, a project of that scale?
I don't know where,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
it's just not
we're
there
only a
like.
couple years in on this, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There used to be a lot of funding. You guys probably know better than I do, that it's just essentially in the last 6, 8, 10 years.
We're not the only one in
dried
this
up.
situation. Every facility has been like this, and
Mhm.
now
That makes
everyone's
it very
applying for this
competitive.
money. And
Mm-hmm.
the money is getting less and less, and more people are filing for it, so we're not.
I guess what I was getting at was like, you know, obviously that's something that we have the
Yeah.
impending problem here, but, you know, if we can't get the funding to fix it, then, you know, maybe these things that we can have an impact on, I mean, I don't know how we determine, I mean, I would imagine $15 to $20 million is,
Yes.
gonna have a huge impact on.
Even sure, like how the original bill was funded, was it grants and just,
There was
debt
a
service?
lot of grant money involved in the beginning, because we were a brand new facility, and there was 35 years ago, there was a lot of grant money, but we assumed 2 bonds, I think. I think one of them's been paid. One was a 25-year bond.
One of them we refinanced,
One of them we refinanced.
one we're paying on now, and we've still got about 10 years on it.
Okay, that was my next question. Then will we be bond free?
Yeah.
What do we owe on that bond?
I don't know, it's a dollar amount.
But I think we need to focus on the things that we know need to be done at hand and begin a 5-year and a 10-year, maybe a 15-year plan, and kind of devise ways along the way of coming up to some of those things. And I've seen so many changes just in 15 years. Even when we did Maze, there was a lot of grant money. How long ago was that? Paul?
I don't know. I haven't been
Probably
there that
20
long.
years ago.
Oh, yeah, I was a little kid.
Yeah, and, I mean, that was a piece of cake to get that passed 20 years ago. Now, rural development, and I forget what all was involved in that.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that if you did a smaller bond now, to get your critical issues done, get the plant up to, just make get it so it's good for 10 years. Then we look at the big bond. Maybe obviously finance things clear up hopefully in 5-10 years, and you can do the rest of the plant when you see more expansion happen and the plant gets closer to capacity. So
Yeah, we can't simply not do anything.
I think that looks good too when you have that mirrored plant, the expansion coming in, and then you're going to have an SRF, like a lot of these, some of these SRF grants that were given out that hit the top 10, they were spending $30, $40 million and only asking for 10 from SRF. So they're still doing big bonds, mixing with SRF. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
You have
just throw that out there. Potential.
So what's our next step?
Establish priorities, I think.
Yeah, we need to
That
establish the
is-
priorities and then, you know,
And you say these projects are shovel ready?
Majority of these are. There's a couple things from our conversation, or your conversation with Steve, I think that we need to make some edits on, things that we weren't originally planning, like the Dunreath overhaul, that, wasn't all a part of our original scope for Dunreath. But a majority of our plans are.
We did go forward on the project that was approved back in March or February.
March is when you came up here.
It was approved, but we never really you never signed the document officially to give back to us, so we don't really have that as
That was for the
as an additional scope. We have a lot of scope creep in this project, basically. So, and the plant work was not even included in the original project. So,
I think what the problem was is the original scope was a reroute. And
Right.
in the last 10 years, as we waited on funding or trying to get funding for this reroute, we progressively had more and more stuff fail or start to fail within our collection system and facilities. So we've had to try to add stuff, but if we're obviously still not going to hit funding on these things, we have to start moving forward on some of this stuff now.
So what are our options in finding out what kind of grant money is available to smaller organizations such as ours?
I mean, we've kicked around the idea of trying to find a grant writer, just someone that's all they do is chase grants for us. Because just chasing one grant a year,
That's where they specialize at. I mean,
we can't.
I think the best bet is to call Kelly, not the Alliance, because they have grant writers there. I don't know if we can use them,
Utilize
so
available.
we could at least get some ideas.
A lot of grant writers won't charge you unless you're awarded a grant.
so that's the point. I mean, we're thinking about how we're going to fund this thing, but we need somebody that knows more about the financing part than we do. And so if we have a grant writer that's up on all this stuff that's available, it would help us kind of have a better, because we're waiting on this one, and every time we come in the
Right.
top so ever, but then we're beat out because of larger projects and bigger co-pays.
Well, even with this Okra funding, the deadline on this is gonna be due October 4th, so that's coming up pretty quick.
So, I mean, it just seems like if that's not our expertise, then, part of success is finding somebody who can amend that for you.
I think grant writers are a good first step.
I do too. That's a good suggestion. But I think we need to work with the Alliance and see what,
So do we need
Avenues the
a
Alliance
motion
might-
to move forward on trying to locate some kind of grant writer,
You
whether
wanna
it's
make
through the
that
Alliance
motion?
or.
I'll make that motion that we move forward in trying to procure a grant writer that has more understanding of what's available for us than what we do. Because we're looking at astronomical prices
Yeah.
here. I mean, we're not looking at,
and you're right, it's not our chief.
and so if we don't do something, gang, we're gonna set ourselves up for complete failure, and then who's gonna hold the ball for that?
So you made the motion, you seconded, any further discussion? So I would suggest we start with the Alliance,
See what they'll-
see what
facilities
might be
to them.
available.
I mean, that's why they're there, is to help all these facilities do water and wastewater, so if they have any contact that they can give us, we need to take advantage of that.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I do think we need to move forward with you and John trying to work with Flying J verbally and then hopefully getting something in writing as to who does what in the future.
what you had, Dad? Oh, I thought I better just mention that Henry County 4-H building we're helping with that, and they're using Tina Henderson, and I can get her. She's a grant writer, basically. So if you need information on her, I can forward
Yeah,
that to you.
anything any ideas or suggestions you might have
Okay.
to help us
There's-
get
yeah,
funding,
they're
please let
using-
us know.
There's a lot of options. I mean, I've had good experience with Ross at Baker Tilly. I think he has a lot of good contacts that he's been helping me on, not only with you guys, but on another project we're working on for SRF as well.
It's like
So.
anything, it's who you know,
Exactly.
and it helps to know those kind of people
Exactly.
at times like this. Well, it's a lot to digest. Does anyone have any other discussion on this project? But we know we need to move forward on it and doing some things. And hopefully in August we'll have more information. Do you think we need to take any action on anything else between now and then, John?
I don't think you have anything to take action on necessarily. I think you need to know more about rates and what you might do with Ross before you would do anything else. So, and then the grant writer, I don't know how quick you might know something, but probably not for 60 or 90 days, I would guess.
Yeah, something better than nothing now.
So I don't think there's anything else to do today.
Okay. What else do you have for us, Zach?
Okay, so, I'm gonna kind of circle back to how we've been running so lean over the years. Pretty sure Aaron and Luke both saw it during the walkthrough, the span of our collection system and our facility, and, the work it takes to not only maintain them, but to be preventative so we don't fall back once we do start doing some of this stuff. Currently, we have 2 maintenance guys. Most of these projects, they're going out together, not only for safety, because when you're opening wet wells and panels, you need 2 people there, safety issue. So when they're gone all day, every day, out working on the collection system, because we have all these issues, I'm stuck here at the plant having to do everything at the plant on top of everything I have in the office with all the paperwork, IDEM, try to, do any of this work. Like I can't even get to have this work because I'm constantly out here. One person takes a day off, now I'm out in the field with that person, the other person, so I can't be at the facility getting stuff done. So we're to the point where we need another maintenance person. That way I can send 2 out on daily as they're working on stuff, doing locates, inspections, pulling pumps, and then another person that can be here to help with lab and running the plant itself with all the maintenance, with the weekly and daily stuff that goes on there.
What would be the minimum requirement of basic skills for that person?
So I think it'll be basically the same position as those guys. We want some mechanical electrical experience. They have to be high school graduate, driver's license, clean criminal background, and live within 30 minutes of the facility for the on-call purposes as well.
Do we need to do anything to establish that position, or don't we already have?
We already have
established?
that position, the Tech 1 position, already established in documents. It'll just be reposting it again to fill the position. And it'll start out the same 42,000 as we started all the previous maintenance.
So I think we need a motion to go ahead and hire that 4th person in the plant capacity position.
Like it'll be, start out training, it'll be plant and lab. And then as that person's fully trained there, I want them to be interchangeable too, to where, just for instance, like when I took my vacation, we got hammered with a lot of rain. The guys really didn't know what to do because they're constantly out in the field, so I can't train them as much as operations within the plant. So that's where once this person's trained, I want that person maybe jump with Mike. He can take them out and start showing them the infield collection system, maintenance, and work out there. And then I can keep Chad back and start going through plant operations with Chad and the expectations of what needs to be done here at the plant weekly as well. And then that way, when, if I take a vacation, I'm not getting called all 5 days I take vacation and basically don't get a vacation. I'm getting called nonstop. But then it's also, you know, something happened to me tomorrow when I'm in a car crash. Someone needs to know how to run the facility. And currently, they're not going to be able to do that because I don't have the availability to show them operations every day because we're constantly in the field fixing the collection system that is aging out.
And if we begin anything on these needed projects, it's going to pull you to help oversee those projects.
All these projects get pulled away, and then just all the stuff with trying to meet with John and do all this, like, if I'm constantly out here, I don't have time to do that. Like, even with, I talked about in the past, we're spending $44,000 on chemical. I have another vendor that has another option that's cheaper and possibly a setup there, but I don't have time to meet with him or sit down and go over everything because we're constantly running around doing that. And then, obviously, you know,
Do you think one person's enough?
one person for now will be enough.
Let me see, I'm trained up.
Get them trained up, get everybody set, because, I mean, when someone, you know, we want people to have a quality of life. This is a job at the end of the day, we're just giving up part of our time for a salary. I want them to have quality of life, so when they have their comp time and they have their vacation, I want them to be able to take it when they want to.
Yeah.
But it's putting me in a pinch because now it's pulling me away from not only all this stuff, now I'm out with that handling.
Well, that's why I
collection
asked,
system.
do you think one would be enough?
One is enough for now. If something crazy were to happen with development and we get to a point where they add pre-treatment, if we start getting more of that, then eventually, you know, I would see we might have to hire someone to run the pre-treatment because that's turned into a little bigger task than what we originally thought. There's more testing and paperwork behind it than originally, you know, they explained to me when we first set it up. So I think currently with one other person, we will, you know, it'll free me up. I'm not out here all day. If I can be in here handling the paperwork, doing that, then start working on getting all this done, then we're in a lot better shape than me running around nonstop and feeling like I can't have a vacation because I'm trying to do all this, and then now I can't take this day off because I need to get caught up on my office stuff and everything else.
So is there a motion to hire this additional person?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Tyler, seconded by Dwight. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Yeah, I think we've been banking too much in the past on future development, and I don't see it. I mean,
Because even with the split to 2 extra parcels off Quick Trip, and there's no guarantee what's going to go in there, if anything goes in
and
there.
it could be years.
Yeah.
It could be years.
So banking on, you know, we need to do a reroute, to me, that's not feasible right now with the condition of the collection system in our facility.
Focus on the now and have a 5, 10, 15-year plan. So I think that's what we need to nail down in
And I would
August.
also recommend to all board members, if you're willing to do it, come and take a tour and see what you're voting on, what you're.
I'd like to suggest, I don't know how your bylaws or anything are, but I think that should be part of the bylaws. I think all of you should have to.
I do
look at that.
too, and I've been out there many times.
I think it should be a
And
requirement.
even if you wanted to do a little video or something, I mean, even to put on our Facebook page and show customers.
You gotta see it in person.
I know,
Yeah, that's
but
It's, the condition of majority of our wet wells are rough due to, you know, Flying J is obviously the worst because for years they let campers dump in there at their facility.
The pictures Zach showed us the last time when we talked about this reroute project and what I saw when I went out there.
two different
And then
areas.
just
Yeah.
you guys realize the size of area that we have to cover. Like these guys, you know, to go from one end of the district to the other, you're talking 20 minutes one way just to work on something. It's
And I don't know if you guys know, but they have a lot of contacts. Mike has happened to cash his out. a lot.
Because they don't have time to use it.
Well, that and.
We're having so much overtime due to
Right.
stuff breaking and failing that they're getting called in a lot
to.
to
Hours.
do all this.
I'm doing fine. I mean,
What's the
Elizabeth,
issue
she's,
with that?
well, that's because of that.
Yeah.
Help.
That's why I said we ran too lean for too long.
But
Like, I
now
understand, you know,
fine.
you wanna try to run as
It's
lean as
gonna
you
be
can, but if you don't have the people
to
to
train. But-
let people have their time off or even maintain what you have, then it's not gonna work.
Mhm.
You know, unfortunately, it's just,
90% of business success relies on employee morale.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
and I mean, I've got burnout, Mike got burnout, you know. Everyone hits that wall where it's just so much nonstop calls and stress and failures that, it's a lot
It's overwhelming.
on us. I'm not saying it's not manageable, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very stressful and dangerous job. I mean, you have electric and all these panels, you're messing with all different voltage, you're talking about opening wet wells, and now we're expecting people to pull pumps and hang over it by themselves in the past, like, that's not acceptable.
That's not,
I'm not calling somebody's relative and tell them, hey, he's not coming home because we were negligent and weren't taking safety precautions and running the facility right because we're trying to save on manpower. We can't.
No, we can't
continue
do that. Do you have anything else for us, Doug?
I think, so I talked about Covalent, they're gonna be out, and they should, he said they will have it back fully tomorrow. That just got stretched out due to, they had some other stuff fall in their hands, but also we had more stuff on our pumps fail as they got further into the pumps. And then we had the little issue with the soft starts, so that should be back tomorrow. And then the only other thing we talked about is with Spiceland Days, Donna's gonna pass this on with them that, so while that festival's going on, a lot of people parked in our lift station drive, and when the power went out, our people were unable to access the gate to even plug a generator in. So luckily, you know, the neighbor knew whose cars were there, and we got to move to get in there before we had to overflow. But we're going to get with them, and we want to rope off a car
No
length
parking.
each
There's only
side
like 3 parking
of the drive
spots there.
just to, for any festival, for preventive measures going forward, so we don't run into
But
that
that's
again.
why we need a generator there.
It's already high stress having to hurry get the generator, and then you get there and you can't even get in.
Yeah.
It made for a very high
Really
stress
need an
situation that
on-site
didn't need to
generator.
happen. So, but the on-site
So
generator
they
would
would put
take
that
care of that.
generator on the automatic startup.
Yeah, so it'll be on automatic startup, so as it loses power, it'll turn over to the natural gas generator, it'll run the lift
Yeah, in
station
the
till
future.
power's handed over, once the
That's-
generator's installed.
That's how the one at Denver works. too.
That's how it's done.
Supposed to work.
It's supposed to work, but it's only hooked to pump
Right,
one, the way
right.
it's designed, which was a bad setup. It should have been able to run either pump, but it's only set for pump one. So now the pump one's done, or down right now, we couldn't run the generator if we lost power. So if we lost power at Dunreath right now, we would have an overflow
Or
regardless.
if
There's
you're
nothing we
bad,
can
most
do.
power good places.
That's not possible.
Because we can't hook a portable generator to Dunreath at all. It's the standalone that's there or nothing. So that's one thing I want to get in line with when we do get a generator for Spiceland, that I still want to have the access point to be able to connect the portable. That way if the natural gas were to fail
Yeah, you
in a
want
tornado or something, you know, if that line gets damaged, we don't have gas and the power's out.
to fail safe.
We want to have stuff in place to where no matter what, we are going to be able to pump this fluid downstream so we don't have overflows. We need to have fail safes, 100%. And that's all I have.
Did you guys have anything else while you're here for us?
No, I designed that. I approved the Covalent design, so I feel like shit, to be honest with you, because of that. But I wish that, I thought, man, they really were selling that
It
product.
was a good sell,
I
yeah,
think
I
it
was
was-
here for that.
At the time, from what I was told, It was supposed to be the next best thing.
Yeah.
Well, we bought this and put it in, and a year later, they came out with one that actually pumps up to a 2-inch solid, no issue, so you wouldn't have all the clogging. The issue is now that it can't handle solids, it gets debris up in it, it goes into the check valves, and just starts tearing the check valves up, which in turn makes the pump work harder, tears up our bearings, impellers, all that.
Yeah, I just never saw that coming. That's
No, none of us did.
Fortunately, you know, we kind of got sold hopes and dreams, honestly, on that, and
Learned
it
a
just
hard
didn't pan
lesson.
out, so.
What do you have first, Marissa?
All I have is the ordinance where we raised Mike's pay when he got
Okay,
his.
we already approved that last month, correct?
Just have to find.
And on CDs, what did you decide you need to do? I know the CDs are coming due
Yes,
soon.
they are August 1st, actually.
So there are,
There's 3.
the pumps right there. You walk in the building, the pumps right there.
but, yeah. I had spoken to Marissa after the last board meeting. We have 3 CDs currently. Our actual checking account is doing better interest than the CDs are. So we talked about maybe some of that CD money, if not all of it, into our checking, because it receives the public entity fund.
Yes. So we have 3 that mature on August 1st.
What are the totals of the
So 70,000, 50,000, and 30,000.
150.
Do we want to renew those CDs or move it into checking? Maybe till the end of the year and then we can revisit it. As long as, I mean, it's doing way better interest.
Are we guaranteed our checking's gonna stay that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because we went from getting like $300 and some a month, and this month, we actually got, I think it was $1,600.
I'm checking.
Yeah, that's a better way to make
it's
money.
at least 4%.
Yeah, because we have 5 total. I've already renewed the 2 biggest ones, which we have of $150,000 and then another $50,000 that I just did in March or
Were
April.
those 12 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
Checking account pays interest.
Yes, it does.
They moved us to a premium account. So now, like I said, instead of getting like $300 and some on our
Like $1,600 a
$700,000,
month.
we're getting $1,600 a month.
Different place.
Nope.
Citizens.
It's something new that passed a couple of years ago that the banks really didn't advertise. People were eligible for.
Well, I had talked to Rich already about something else, maybe the credit card machine fees that we were paying. And, he suggested that maybe we look into changing. So I was like, yeah, it takes a lot more money, go ahead and do it.
And
And
it
they
does.
did, and it was like 4 times as much money.
Yeah.
So the checking is a higher rate of return,
Yeah.
and assuming it's liquid, unlike the,
Exactly. There's that
Is there-
advantage as well.
is there any downside that we're not?
No.
Because I don't,
No, because if they're due, we're not cashing them out or early or
If there's
anything.
no
Right.
downside, I would say do it.
yeah, I couldn't imagine what there would be. Because the bank would have the money
Sounds
regardless.
like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything?
So do we need a motion for her to do that, or just give her?
Do we need a motion for her to do that?
I don't think so. The CDs are gonna expire on their own and
Yeah.
you're just throw it into checking.
Just have the minutes reflect it.
Fund, and we get another return interest.
So yes, this is a lot to digest in this meeting. We've just got to focus on what we need to do first and how we're going to pay for it and do it. So we can all be ready to do that in August.
I should have some quotes, hopefully by then, of what maybe a changeover done would cost. but I think as far as the ARV, you know, I think we need to move forward with that pretty quick. That way we can see what Dunder's gonna do.
Yeah,
If
we
they do,
really
then
need
that's
to
what we need to move
establish
forward with,
that.
that second step of
Yeah.
figuring out what direction we need to head to rebuild it, and then start looking at our facility.
Total cost of that is $63,000. Am I looking at the right?
For the
Wow.
ARV,
Yeah.
ARV federal cost, yeah, roughly 63,000.
That's not installation, that's just parts.
No, that would be the installation. Yeah. And, you know, they did an ARV replacement right before I started, and unfortunately, there was a lot of confusion. There was, you know, everyone that started the project retired, the new superintendent started, and within his first week, he had to do his project. The company that was hired to do it, they put a brand-new project manager on it to run it,
Yeah.
and with two brand-new people, a lot of stuff got overlooked, and ARVs, some of them, I think most of the ARVs got changed, but they didn't put ball valves, and they didn't change out half saddles, and then, I think a month or two after I was here, one of the saddles that did get replaced blew off, and we had to spill, so we will not allow that to happen this time.
Okay. Any further discussion? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion made by Tom,
So,
second by Dwight. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign.
So I just want to say, I appreciate everybody's time and attention to this matter.